good morning. You're welcome to Set of Roses today. I hope you're having a nice day. I am your host, Rosemary Onoyiwakailebua. It promises to be an exciting session today, and I look forward to us learning something really great because we're going to be having a child and an adult psychotherapist whose specialty is in parenting. So we look forward to really learning from this awesome lady this morning. So we're going to be talking about Gen Z, the gentle parenting style versus the intentional parenting style. I know you all out there, you've got your different views about your choice of parenting. So this morning we're going to be learning because there's a lot going on in our world today. There's been a lot on gentle parenting. There's been a drive on intentional parenting. So I would like us to listen this morning, to see, to hear, to be fed with the right knowledge. And it's up to you to choose whether you want to practice a gentle parenting style or you want to practice the intentional parenting style. It's really, really up to you. So as a parent, we know parenting is a skill. Parenting is a skill, I repeat, because you need to have a style with which you guide your baby from the moment they come out from the womb. In fact, intentionally in the womb, from the moment they come out till when they grow up to leave you. What have you invested into them? What character, what life skills have you invested? So this morning, we're going to be welcoming our fantastic speaker. She's going to be telling us parenting styles. Hello. Hello.
Hi,
I celebrate you. Good morning from here.
good morning. Good morning, Rose. Good
Yeah.
morning.
I'm
So
happy
good
to
to see
see
you.
you. You look lovely. Thank you for joining us
Being
this morning.
here.
So how is the family?
Thank you.
How is the
We're
guest?
very, very well, thank
Well, I
you.
can see
We're
you are
very well,
ready. You're
thank you.
excited already. Wow, it's going to be. Thank you for joining us this
Thank you for
morning.
having me.
Yes, my dear. You're welcome.
Sorry?
I say thank you for joining us
Thank
this morning.
you.
So live with us
Thank you
is
for having me.
please may we know you properly, sister. Please tell us about yourself.
Okay, my name is Omolayo. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well, clearly. Okay.
Okay. Okay, my name is Omolayo Jesumiwa Ashonibare. I'm a child and adolescent psychotherapist. I enjoy working with children and
Okay.
parents.
Okay, nice to meet you. You've heard from the horse's mouth herself. She loves to work with children and and adolescents. She's very passionate about it. Permit me to add to her profile. She's a mother of two lovely girls, So she's lovely, she's intelligent, she's a brilliant lady. This morning we're going to be learning from her. So over to you, my dear. I have a question burning in my heart because recently on the
Okay.
internet and here in the UK, there's been a lot about gentle parenting, and there's a wave of parenting style that is recently driving in Nigeria. It started in Nigeria, not just Nigeria. It's taking Africa by storm. I know it's going global. You know what I'm talking about? The intentional parenting style. So this morning, I would like you
Okay.
to teach us, like if I would like you to give us the meaning of this gentle parenting and the intentional parenting. Over to you.
Okay. So now when it comes to gentle parenting, there's a slight difference. Can you hear me? It seems like it's
I
echoing
can
from
hear
this
you
point.
very well. It's fine. I can hear you perfectly well.
Clearly.
Clearly, yes.
Okay. So now when it comes to gentle parenting and intentional parenting, I think the only difference is with regards to the word gentle. Okay. Now, people sort of believe that gentle parenting basically means raising lily feathered children or lily livered children,
Yeah.
children who do not have stamina or rigor.
Wow.
So that's why I said the difference is just very little.
Okay.
Gentle parenting and intentional parenting. Intentional parenting comes with a level of resilience with it. if you're raising intentional, if as an intentional parent, you don't just want to be emotionally connected with your children. Okay, so gentle parenting basically is more of from a place of connection, from a place of love, from a place of building connection, basically building a healthy emotional relationship with your children, while intentional parenting has to do more of, after building this healthy relationship with your children, you also want your children to be skilled. You want your children to be emotionally intelligent. You want your children to be emotionally resilient. You want your children to be able to face whatever challenges that life throws at them. So that's the difference between gentle parenting and intentional parenting. Gentle parenting basically has a lot of softness, sweetness attached to it, while intentional parenting has to do with, after building this softness, you are also able to fine-tune it with a level of resilience and emotional stability with it. So I think that's just the difference. Very little difference.
Okay, so but there's been I heard someone somewhere sometimes he was saying that in gentle parenting they do not believe in discipline. How true is that? That they don't believe in
Can
discipline?
you say that again? You froze up for a bit.
Okay, that is.
You said gentle parenting does
they
what?
Don't believe in discipline and boundaries. And now the children are now becoming the adults, while the adults becoming the children. For example, I heard of a story of the child dictating to the mom what she's going to have for breakfast, and she's got 4 kids. And these 4 kids, according to the gentle parenting style, in quotes, she had to prepare 4 different breakfasts. So what do you have to say about that? So that is very, so that is why, we need to really clear these things, because there's no discipline.
Okay, so gentle parenting is not the same as being permissive.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so being permissive is allowing your child have her way every time, all the time. Oh, this is what you want, go ahead, you can have it.
Wow.
That is being permissive. That is not being gentle parenting. Gentle parenting basically is focusing on your child's emotional health.
Okay.
Focusing on your connection with your child. Gentle parenting doesn't mean that the child is not disciplined. It only means that while I'm trying to parent you and be gentle with you, I don't want to be harsh. I don't want to. Now there's a similarity between gentle parenting and permissive parenting, because gentle parenting doesn't want anything that will hurt the emotions of that child.
Okay.
In gentle parenting, there are no clearly spelled out boundaries. So it can sort of tend towards permissive parenting.
Okay, it can slide towards it. Okay.
It can slide towards permissive parenting, because gentle parenting doesn't have so much of clearly spelled out boundaries. The focus is on building healthy relationship with that child. So there is no clearly spelled out boundaries when it comes to gentle parenting. So it can sort of tend towards permissive parenting. But the truth of the matter is, if you're going to raise healthy children, there has to be boundaries. There has to be discipline.
Wow. Yes, exactly. So, like the intentional parenting, if I may say, you includes the discipline, the structure, the boundary. You are not too permissive, because I strongly believe that as a parent, there's a tendency for us to permit some things, under some circumstances. So in intentional, you have a structure, you have a strategy in place.
Yes.
That's good. Thank you so much. So what do you think are the drawbacks of this gentle parenting style? What are the drawbacks?
Now, when it comes to gentle parenting, I'll mention, permit me, I'll look at 3 major drawbacks, 3 major setbacks of gentle parenting. That is the boundaries, time consuming, and then the risk of overindulgence. Let me take that one at a time. Like I said, when it comes to gentle parenting, there are no clear spelled boundaries, because you're focused on not hurting your child. You're focused on allowing your child build a healthy relationship at all costs. So there are no clearly spelled out boundaries. That is one challenge of gentle parenting. The second challenge is the timing. This child requires a significant amount of patience, time, and energy because you're trying to be empathetic with your child. So you want to be in your child's life almost every time. Now, that also doesn't provide the child the level of independence that that child needs to learn.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, so it takes a lot of your time. You are in your child's life every moment of the time. It takes a lot of your energy,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then it requires a lot of patience, emotional intelligence.
Emotional
But then
intelligence.
it can be
Can be
draining.
draining.
It can be draining because when, as a parent, you have a lot of things you need to juggle all at once, and your focus is raising an emotionally um, um, and your focus is raising children that are empathetic,
Okay.
you have to be able to invest in their lives. You have to be able to invest in their emotions. You want to be involved in everything that they do part time.
I see that.
Okay, so it's time consuming. And then the third part is overindulgence. That's why I said it tends towards being permissive. You indulge your child a lot. Your child says, I want this. Oh, yeah, go ahead. It's more of a yes approach to parenting. It's more of a yes approach to parenting. Your child wants this. Okay, yes, you can go ahead. You are not saying no to your child for any reason because you don't want to hurt your child, because you don't want to turn your child down. So it's more of a yes parenting. Like I said, it tends more towards being permissive. No discipline, no clearly spelled out boundaries.
Okay. Wow. Wow. So,
So those are the downsides or the drawbacks to gentle parenting.
how do we avoid raising bullies and spoiled children using this gentle parenting style?
Now, like I said, gentle parenting is a lot of it comes with a lot of permissiveness. So if you want to raise children that won't tend towards bullying, because if, for instance, as a parent, you are more of a yes parent, with time, when you now say no, your child will want to have their way at all costs. They do not know that it is wrong because they are not used to being turned down. They are not used to being told no. So because they want to have their way at all time, that is not a healthy place to be. So for you to raise children who do not turn out that way, it's better to be more intentional in what you're doing.
Wow.
A blend of being authoritative. As a parent, you have to be authoritative. You have to be decisive in what you're doing. You have to be clear in what you're doing. When it is whatever strategy you choose to implement, there has to be set down boundaries. There has to be limitations to whatever it is that a child can do. And by limitation, I mean boundaries. So when you're telling your child this is what the child needs to do, the child has to understand the point where certain things are up for negotiations and the point where certain things are not up for negotiations. That is where the balance is. So as an authoritative parent, you are coming from the place of, yes, we are able to have conversations. Yes, we are able to discuss certain things. We lay everything on the table, talk about the advantages and disadvantages of whatever decision needs to be made. When we weigh the pros and cons, then we come to a conclusion. Now, when we come to that conclusion, we agree that there is no going back on this thing. So even when you do not feel like doing it anymore, because we have agreed that this is what we want to do, and when we agreed, we have set consequences, there is no going back on it. Those are the boundaries. So we set boundaries. So when it comes to raising children who do not tend towards being bullied or who do not tend towards bullying other people, the strategy has to be more of an intentional strategy than a gentle parenting strategy.
Yes. So there is need to be a structure, like you said, a strategy that is fully implemented, like a laid down rules and regulations. Like you said, the children are supposed they
Yes.
know what can be negotiated and what cannot be negotiated. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, because there's this, someone said children born from the 80s down to 1996, according to the statistics, the millennials that most of us we do belong to. that our parents did give us a kind of operating style that led to abuse, that led to insecurity. But recently, there's a research now that despite this gentle parenting style and the intentional parenting style which we are working with, that this Gen Z, this set of children, permit me to say, they are prone to mental health issues. So what do you have to say about that? What could be the cause? You know.
Okay, so now from this part of the world that I'm in, I would like to view it from that point.
Okay.
Now, the way our parents raised us is absolutely different from the way we are raising our children. In
Okay.
our time, we didn't particularly have a voice as a child. Now, that made us more timid or shy, or even when we felt like we had things to say, we just sort of shut ourselves down.
Yeah.
So we were more shut down, we were more timid, we were more shy. And then we are raising a generation of children who are very outspoken.
Yeah.
Now, that is an entirely, that is almost like an opposite of what we are used to. In our time, when you talk amongst elders, your parents are quick to tell you, did you see your mate here?
Exactly.
My friend, will you go into the room? Who did you see here? Did we call you into this conversation? But now we have children who even involve in conversations like adults do,
Yes.
who are able to have intelligent conversations like adults are able to, who are able to engage in conversations, and you're wondering, where is this coming from? Now, the downside to that is, we talked about how that gentle parenting, there are no clear spelled out boundaries.
Yes.
There is no
No
resilience
resilience.
in that approach of parenting. So I mentioned how they can be lily-livered. When you raise your children with toughness, that is the intentional parenting. Now you furnish your children with skills. There are skills that children are supposed to be raised with, which in gentle parenting they may not particularly be exposed to these things because you don't want to hurt them. In intentional parenting, you deliberately give your children tasks that you know they cannot handle because you want to raise them to be able to tackle challenges. You want to raise them to be able to tackle problems. You want to raise them to be able to face certain things. So you teach them you teach them problem solving, you teach them independent thinking, you teach them skills that when they are faced with certain things, they know how to face it head on. In gentle parenting, I may not want my child to fall down. Oh, please. For instance, you go to schools now in Nigeria, you go to schools and most schools do not allow their children go out and play during break anymore.
Really?
And when I had a conversation with, yes, so when I had a conversation with my children's school administrator, her reason was when these children go out to play, they get injured on the playground. Now, tell me how a child do not get injured when they play. We didn't die with all of the injuries that we had. We learned from it. When a child falls down while playing, the child stands up and continue playing. But when that child is not even exposed to that, when the child is now faced with a bigger life challenge, they feel afraid.
Yes.
Because they have not been able to manage smaller challenges, as little as falling down and standing up from a game. When a child falls down and the child doesn't stay on the floor, the child gets up. That is teaching the child resilience.
Yes. Bouncing back.
When a child is running and the child falls down, he doesn't stop there. He stands up and continue playing. Funny enough, we think that child is only playing. No, but from that, they are learning mental resilience. From that, they are learning not to stay fixed to the problems that they face. Your child is doing an assignment and then you tell your child, maybe your child says, Mommy, this assignment, I don't understand. If you don't understand, just pack it up and take it back to school tomorrow. The child doesn't see the need to go back and sit down and focus on that assignment till you get it. So where is the place of facing challenges? So when children are not used to facing tough situations by themselves or handling tough situations by themselves, when they grow up as adults and they are faced with these challenges, they are quick to give up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Because it is not, now we feel like when children play, it is just play. No. when they engage in these activities, they are learning major life skills that will in turn translate in their adult life. So a child who doesn't learn to dress up by himself at 3 years, at 4 years, at 5 years, or because your child is trying to dress up and your child is kind of like, okay, come, let me help you. That child is crying, but he's learning to face this challenge. Dressing up at 3-year-old is not a plus. It is a skill that child is learning.
Yes.
So when your child is struggling to put on the top, mommy, come and help me. I'm not able to wear my top. Mommy, come and help me. I'm struggling. Please hold on. Please give me a minute. So, mommy, come and help me. I'm struggling to put on my dress. And then you now go and help the child. The skill that child is supposed to acquire with that particular struggle, you bailed out that child.
Yeah.
So when you bail out your children, with time, they will struggle with challenges because they will think mommy is always going to be there to bail them out. So when they are used to being bailed out, when they are faced with challenges as adults, they are looking for somebody to bail them out. When they don't see a bailout system, then they give up.
They give up.
That is where the struggle comes with mental health.
Crisis.
So they do not know how to face challenges. They do not know how to face tough times. So when they are faced with struggles that seem like, oh, they are confused and they don't even know what to do, they just give up there and then. That is the struggle.
Wow.
And adage in Nigerian parlance, they say they know they use old age take learn lefty. Whatever a child will become, the child begins to learn from childhood and then he masters it. Anything a child will become from age 1 to 3, that child must have been exposed to the foundational levels of these things. It is not at 14 you're teaching a child to sit down and focus. No. You would have started teaching that child focus and concentration as a child. You would have started teaching that child resilience as a child. As little as go and put on your sandal. And then that child wears banana. That's when the child wears the left foot on the right foot. I call it banana. So the child wears banana and you build that child. Let the child do it again. Do it right.
Yes. Hello. Okay, can you
hear me?
Yes.
I think my network was frozen for a bit.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
You really said some really vital points. You talked about building life skills, equipping the child with skill sets that is going to be responsible for critical thinking, critical reasoning, and good problem solving abilities. That is fantastic because, like you said, the major cause of mental health issue is because at some point in their life, we as parents, we did intervene when our children were about to solve a particular question because we believe that we love them
that they
so
can
much. We kind of disrupt, we hinder or we breach the process where they build a particular skill that
we interfere with their learning process.
We try to bail them out because we feel we love them so much. Permit me to say this is even common with we that were raised with the toughness. I don't want my children to be exposed to the way my mom
to go through what I went through.
What I went through was so bad. During my time as a little girl, when you fall, you know what our mommy do now? They look at us.
You will
Nobody
stand
tells
up.
you sorry. They just stare at you. That look means get up. And see,
get up and keep going.
Here we are today. Are you getting me? Life has been wonderful. After life has been so good. But we have
Now we have parents. We have parents that when their children fall down, they are the ones helping them to stand up instead of teaching them to stand up. So the child stays on the floor and continues crying.
And yours is even amazing. Here in the UK, you know what we are facing right now. I had an experience. I went to the public restroom and a child, not really up to 5, we were using the general bathroom. And suddenly this little boy just looked at the mom. I don't know whatever they were discussing about. Like I said, it was a public bathroom. I just walked in, and the boy just looked at the mom. I said, "Mommy, will you shut your mouth up? Shut the." And he used the F word, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I looked at the mom. She had two other kids, and I began to speak in tongues. The anointing of the Lord came upon me. I began to mind my business. I said, "Holy Spirit of God,
The
I receive grace
Nigerian
for
mother
my
in you came out.
children." I said, "Jesus." I began to wash my hand quickly, not because I didn't even know when I turned on the cold tap. You know what I'm talking about? Instead of the warm
The
water.
Nigerian.
The Africanism. I said, "No, Satan, the blood of Jesus is against you. No way, no way, no way." Are you getting me? I had to quickly wash my hands. Yeah, we respect ourselves, we respect people, we respect cultures, we have laid boundary because of the society. I had to quickly, I went for the door. So quick. But it was an high sin. You don't love children to the point of spoiling them. You don't love them to the point of ruining them. Because lately we are complaining of bullies. We are complaining of abuse. We are complaining of abuse in workplace. Those people that cause problem in workplaces today, they were once children. A sport child that
Yes.
doesn't know how to respect people, that doesn't know how to. You said something about being empathetic. Someone that is not empathetic from the home will go out there to the workplace, and the person will cause problem for others. So this idea of I love my kids, I don't want them to go through what I went through. My mom was too tough. We need to strike a balance because, like you said, we don't want to raise how did you call it? Lily livered children.
Lily livered
Yeah,
children.
we don't want to raise
Every problem that we have in the every problem we have in the society started from the
from
home.
the child. Are you
Started
getting me?
from the home.
And now it starts with we have, for example, a young man at 50 that cannot keep his personal hygiene. Was once a little boy that
Yes.
was being
That the
overpampered.
parents probably told, don't worry, somebody will wash your clothes for you. Leave it there.
Yeah. So, it's amazing. We keep complaining there are bad people out there, the society is this. But like we say, charity begins at home. So we must get
At
it
home.
right. Mental health and depressed. Lately, during our time when you're studying mathematics, you know what I mean? We struggle, we work on it until we get it. But yeah,
Until we get it.
I get,
If you don't get
I
it, you
got
call somebody again and sit down and do it together.
And when you get to the point where you can no longer do it, that is when we ask for what? Assistance. Instead of helping the children, we should be on guard to assist them when they get to that point of giving up. But we must equip them properly so that we don't continue to raise this gentle, my baby, no, she can't do that. My kids, I read something on the internet, I don't know how true, that some children right now, because the parents don't even want them to go hungry in school, their lunch pack is almost like that of an adult. They give them lunch packs. I'm not against it, but how can a child have a food that can last for 2 days?
This is excessive,
It's
really.
excessive.
I saw a video. I saw a video of a parent packing the son's lunch bag, and it was a three-course meal
Oh my Jesus. In
to
school?
school.
To school.
A three-course meal to school. To school. Now that three-course, in fact, it was more than a three-course meal because there was fruit salad, there was smoothie, there was swallow. The main meal was swallow and egusi soup. It
Wow.
wasn't cultural day. It was a regular school day.
Wow.
The main meal was swallow and soup. Then there was smoothie. There was fruits, vegetable, fruit salad. Sorry.
Wow.
There was what do they call that thing? There was sandwich
Okay.
and juice separately. There was sandwich and juice. There was fruit salad. There was smoothie. There was swallow, and then there was still snacks
Oh.
in that bag.
For just one
This child
person.
will go to school in the morning to return for one person to return by 2 p.m. So parents are now we are now beginning. Parents are beginning to indulge their children, all in the name of I don't want my kids to go through what I went through. Okay, I lacked certain things, and I don't want my children to lack. Now it is not wrong to not want your children to lack. But while we are trying to raise our children, we shouldn't also try to shield them from the realities of life. Because what that child will go to school, I mean, of course, except if that child packs that lunch bag to be able to share with other people.
Okay, maybe.
That is understandable. But if it is just that child's meal, that is excessive. Unnecessary, absolutely unnecessary. So in parenting our children, we also don't want to indulge them.
Yes. Because for everything we do and for every gift, we are building a certain trait. We are enabling some
A mentality.
in them, and at this school, it could become a problem. Someone said if you are not solving a problem, you're actually creating one.
We are creating another one.
So you need to be sure that the problem you are trying to solve is not creating another problem.
Another problem.
Wow, that's amazing. So what would you say with all this, your preferred parenting style? Yours. I want to
My preferred parenting style. I'm learning to be an authoritative parent.
Wow.
Because growing up, I had two. My mom had an absolutely different parenting strategy. My dad had an absolutely different parenting strategy.
Wow.
My dad is one person that when you want to do something, he would ask you questions. So why do you want to do this? Weigh your options. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? My mom, on the other end, is no, you're not doing this. You will do what I want you to do, and that is final.
Okay.
So for my mom, you don't even have an opinion. You're going to do it because I said you do it. And that's why it's not up for negotiation. But now, how that impacts me, how that has impacted me as an individual, has made me see that there are honestly two sides to this thing. And if we want to raise children who will make impact, we don't want to raise them as zombies. We want them to have a mind of their own. We want them to be able to think for themselves. For goodness sakes, God created us as thinking beings. God created us and gave us options, gave us brains so that we can think, we can process things. So God is not expecting us to do garbage in, garbage out. The same vein, we also don't want to raise our children as zombies. We don't want to raise children who cannot think for themselves. We don't want to raise children who are absolutely dependent. We want to raise children who are interdependent and independent when the need arises.
Yes.
Children who can face the world. Children who can tackle whatever challenges that life throws at them, and who can also speak up for themselves, who are not timid or shy or feeling incapable at any point.
Yes.
So I prefer the authoritative parent, and I prefer to do that intentionally.
Wow.
Because that gives me a balance of discipline and nurture. Like I said, I don't want to raise children who cannot speak for themselves. And at the same time, I don't want to raise children who are rude or disrespectful.
Yes.
Because there's a thin line, there's a clear difference between being blunt and being disrespectful.
Yeah.
You have to learn to speak with grace. You won't say because you are being outspoken, you are now blunt and you just talk down at people and talk to people anyhow. No. So while you're being outspoken, you also have to learn to speak with grace. Your words should be seasoned with salt.
Yes.
So I prefer that parenting approach because it gives me a balance of nurture and discipline.
Okay, dear.
I'm able to nurture them with the skills that I want them to grow up with. I'm able to relate with them from a place of love, because it's easy to correct a child, it's easy to discipline a child when that child sees that you actually love him or her.
Yes. Connect to correct, yeah.
Connects to correct. So if all you do is correct your child, discipline your child, criticize your child, your child is not learning per se. The only thing your child is learning is negative energy. The only thing your child is learning is how he's not good
Good
enough or
enough.
how he cannot do certain things right.
Yes.
But if you come from the place of love, you come from the place of nurture, it helps you to raise a wholesome
A
child.
wholesome child. Wow.
Yes, so
Yeah, I really like what you said about your choice of parenting being authoritarian with an intention, with intentionality, because back then we were raised with authoritarianism. Permit me to say, our parents they were very authoritative, but there was really no balance per se. You know what I mean? There was no balance. My way or the highway. But even though yes, we did have some we did have some disadvantage to that, but you could see that this our generation per se, there's this toughness, there's this resilience, there's this perseverance, there's this contentment. We are ready to tackle it. We know there's no going back. You can't go back home. You know what I mean? So you have to face it and get it.
yes,
You have
head on.
you head on. We face it. We just face it. Whatever life throws at us, it's as if we are ready. And I strongly believe that we became too independent at some point. Unlike this Gen Z that we are trying to create, we are trying to teach them how to be independent. You know what I mean? Because we have intervened, we have bailed them out, we want to love them too much, not to hurt them. But the truth is that they are going to be exposed to the world. And the society out there is not nice. So they need this set of skills, critical thinking, problem solving ability, perseverance, you know, so they can head on in life. So that was really great of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I would like to know, so what are
Thank
the
you.
characteristics of these Gen Z generations that you think we need to learn? What do you think? What are the things we need to learn so we can prevent them properly? Because they have their own language, they have their own style, they have their own, if they call us old school at times, you know what I mean? So how do we blend from the generation we are coming from into them so that we can do our work? How do we blend?
Our time, correction or discipline was a public affair.
Wow. Was it public?
And by that, I mean, in our time, correction was a public affair. You can goof, and where you are, your mom either gives you a slap or a knock on your head. Automatic. You know why it happened. You know what you did.
Yes, yes.
So there's no reason to be shocked. The moment that hand touches you, you just come back to default setting.
Okay.
But now we see how that we are learning to respect our children, and I use that word carefully because we understand that children are as humans as adults are. When you're correcting a child, correction is not a public affair. It is a very private affair. You know why? Your focus is teaching your child. Your focus is not embarrassing your child.
Yes.
So this generation now, it's easier to relate with them if they see that they have a safe place or a safe person in you. Children generally, it's easier to relate. It's easier to nourish a healthy relationship when the child feels safe around you. Which is why most of us, even till now, still struggle with telling our parents certain
Of course,
things.
yeah.
We didn't feel
Yeah.
that level of safety with them.
Yes, yes.
If I tell my mommy now, what will
What
she
will she
say?
say?
If I tell my daddy this thing, he will just slap me.
Yeah.
So that safety was not there. That connection was not there. That trust wasn't there in that level, quote and unquote. So for this generation, we are coming to the awareness that correction is not a public affair.
Wow.
Discipline is not a public affair.
Mm.
Teaching my child the values that I want is not a public affair.
It's not a public affair. Wow.
Because when I'm raising my child, I want to raise a child that I have taught. Our parents just expected that we knew certain things without particularly teaching us.
Exactly.
So you
You know.
misbehave outside, and the next thing you hear is, don't you know the son of who you are? or the next thing you hear is, don't you know that you're not supposed to do this thing? The child doesn't know, because you didn't deliberately teach that child. You just assumed that the child should know because that child is 8 years old. But you didn't teach the child. When your child, for instance, as little as teaching a child how to clean herself up, most of us learn to do that on our own.
Of course. Some of our parents, they did right.
Nobody is teaching you how to use it as a girl. Nobody is teaching you how to use sanitary. In our time, nobody taught us how to wear sanitary pads. You figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
Your ancestors will just come. Nobody taught us the quantity of how to measure salt and put inside rice. No. You will put the salt until your ancestor tells you it's okay.
Like this.
And then you check, and then you taste it. If it's not okay, you put again.
Yeah.
Until your ancestors tell you is enough. But now we are seeing that we have to teach these children these things if they must know it.
Yeah.
Because if we don't teach them, people are outside that will teach them, and they will teach them wrongly. For instance, when it comes to sex education, you cannot leave any stone unturned. Because if you don't teach your child, there are people out there waiting to teach them and take advantage of them. They will just feed on the ignorance gap. They will feed on the knowledge gap. Because it's easy to know a child that is skilled and a child that is not skilled. It is easy to know a child that is well taught and a child that is not well taught. So when they see that this child is not well taught, they feed on the knowledge gap, take advantage of it. So we are going to have to learn to teach our children everything that they need to know. And of course, you yourself, for you to be able to teach your child, that means you also have to keep learning.
You need to keep learning. That is
progressive learning. Keep learning progressively. That's the only way. If you don't keep learning, your child will know more than you. Now, children have access to information.
Yes.
They rely on us to help them sieve that information and hold on to the knowledge. Information is everywhere.
Yes.
What our children are looking up to us for is knowledge.
Yes.
What do you know,
what do you know
that you can impact your child with?
Exactly.
If I want to, for instance, for instance, anything a child wants to learn, all they need to do is Google. So they have access to information at the tip of their hands, especially these Gen Zs, this generation. They are internet citizens.
Exactly. Netizens, as they call them.
Yes. Oh, they are netizens. Good. Netizens. So they have access to liquid information, but they rely on us as their parents to give them the knowledge, help them filter out the ones that is not useful for them, and hold on to knowledge. So if we keep assuming that they know, then who is going to teach them?
Yes. Wow. And
for you to know what your child knows, you also have to be involved in their lives. Conversations, open-ended conversations. Teach them deliberately, correct them with love, have open-ended conversations with them. That way you know what they know, and then you know that there are certain things that they know that you also need to teach them rightly, so that they don't just hold on to what they think they know. So you're teaching them from a place of knowledge.
Wow, from a place of knowledge.
And then equip them. Don't just assume that because you're doing this thing, your child knows everything. No, equip them with skills that will translate as beneficial skills for them in adulthood. Don't just freelance. We are go and play, and then they go and they are running around the neighborhood. What kind of play are they playing when they are playing?
Exactly.
What kind of play are they playing? There are games children can engage in. There are activities children can engage in that will equip them with these skills. So while they are playing, they are learning this thing. It's not like you have to deliberately say when you are faced with a challenge, this is what you do. No. As they are playing games, as they engage in activities, indoor play, outdoor play, as they engage in activities, as they engage in conversations, as they play with their peers, as they interact with their environment, they are learning these things. But now we have parents who say they don't even allow their children to go and play outside anymore because they are afraid of unknown danger out there. So you shield your child. This challenge, this danger has always been there, even when we were children. Even when we were children, they used to kidnap. When we were children, they used to do all of these things. It's the same. The intensity has grown, but if we keep shielding our child, how do we now teach them to handle these challenges when they are actually faced with them? So yes, we keep teaching, we equip ourselves with knowledge and also teach our children deliberately and then correct from a place of love. And then in correction, we know that correction is not a public affair. It's a very personal matter, very private. So you sit down and teach your child. That is why we say it is correction. It is not punishment. If you want to correct your child, then you are teaching the child to do better. But if it is punishment, your focus is inflicting pain.
So you can punish them without teaching them what to do next.
But when you're correcting them, they understand that this thing they did, it turned out this way because. If they had thought about it the other way around, this could have been the outcome. So they learn that when they are making decisions, there's a good side to it and there's a negative side to it. There are consequences and there are rewards. So they learn the pros and cons. They learn the law of cause and effect.
Cause and effect, yeah. Okay. I've really learned a lot from you. And you know, it is even said that train up a child in the way it should go. So when he is old, he will not depart from it. So like you rightly said, we should train them. And in training them, we are to teach them. We are to teach them. Yes. We are to correct them from the place of love. And love. And we are not to assume. Because while we were corrected at our time, but it was from the place of fear. So most times we didn't do some things, not because we didn't want to do it. We had this fear on our inside. We didn't know why. The fear of your
mom or your dad.
I get it. We didn't know why we shouldn't do it. For example, you know what I'm talking about. Mostly the gay child will tell us. I remember what they told us one time. Hey, if you are not somebody to touch you here, somebody to touch you here,
you get pregnant.
And I remember very well. Oh my God, this time I recall that.
And then you are in a class and you have a misunderstanding with a boy and the boy pushes you and then you see that this boy just touched me. I did not get pregnant. How?
No. But they say we stopped sitting down with the opposite gender because we didn't want to get pregnant. But just sitting down with a guy, oh my God, what happened? Like, they tricked us, you know. But we had this fear going on our side, and it hindered our kind of social interaction. Most of us were timid, not because we were timid. We were timid because we were fearful based on the information that we have been, we have been fed with over time. So I really like what.
Also, let me add.
Okay.
Let me add that when you are raising a child with fear, it actually kills that child's creative mind. It kills the child's curiosity. So if all you do is don't do, and then the child becomes afraid, the child becomes caged. When the child is supposed to be exploring his or her imagination, exploring creativity, all that the child hears in his head is you cannot do that. Don't touch. Don't go there. Don't do. No. So it sort of just keeps shutting down that child's creative mind.
Yeah.
Killing the child's creativity. Which is not beneficial.
At all. So my dear, we've said a lot. So most timid people, they are very good public speakers. But that fear of shut up. We should not talk when others are talking. Most of them are very brilliant, very intelligent. But we're not going to do that to this generation. We're not going to be raising that kind of.
No, we're not doing that.
We are better parents.
Not anymore.
We know, like you said, we keep learning, we keep improving, we keep building ourselves, we keep getting better. Because like you rightly said, when these kids, they know that you don't know, they'll look at you. I can't even talk to them.
They won't come to you when they are faced with challenges. My mommy does not know anything.
We'll call it, this is a blockhead.
They would rather would rather go and have those conversations with their classmates, people that they are seeing on the same level, and they will mislead each other. So as a parent, we have to equip ourselves with knowledge. Blind man leading the blind.
Happening. So there's a lot of my child is doing this, so many movements, even on the social media space, you see a blind adult trying to recruit more blind people into their team. Are you getting me? So we as parents, we have a lot to do. And I'm glad we share in this same perspective. We share in this same line, in this line course. I'm really blessed with you. You've said a lot. You've said a lot. It's been a wonderful session with you. You made us to understand a difference between gentle parenting and intentional parenting. You also spoke about being authoritarian or kind of authoritative kind of parenting style, not just being an authority, but with intentionality. So I really got that because I was thinking that maybe we fought totally for the intentional parenting, I just want to be intentional. So whether I'm permissive or I'm an authority, it doesn't matter. But thank you for helping us to have clarity that I want to be an authoritative parent. I want to exercise my authority with a form of intentionality, structured with love, so I can have a wholesome, child or adult in the future. We thank you so much, Layo. We thank you. We celebrate you. In fact, I'm so loaded. He just gave me manna for the season, manna to run with in 2025. I'm serious, yes. It's a manna because now I know my authority I have to exert it. I must not be, put my kids under pressure in the future. I must be intentional. I must have strategies in place. I must have a structure. I must have laid down rules. In fact, I must have a code of conduct. And they should know what is permitted.
Values.
Core
yes,
values.
family values.
I shall have a core
your children should understand as a family, your children should understand who they are. They should understand who they represent. They should have a mission statement that guides them. What do we stand for? Have a vision as a family, have a mission as a family, have core values. What are those traits or attributes or attitudes that are important to you as a family? Let them understand. We are going to have to teach them, like you're preparing a curriculum for them on everything that you see that is important to you. If honor is important to you and it's one of your core family values, you're going to have to build a curriculum around honor and teach your children. You're not just going to assume that they know what honor is.
Okay. Well, I'm really blessed. Thank you so much for your time. Please, if you are with us, do be well to follow my lovely sister, Holy Resources. She's not just a speaker, she's got life skills set materials to help you build your child. I don't know. Can you talk about that in a few minutes? The set of you have some games. Why are you passionate about this thing? The materials in particular.
Oh, now we have children who struggle with screen, especially. Parents want to engage their children, and to engage their children, the first thing they do is just put the screen in front of them, or put their children in front of the screen. So they're watching cartoon from morning till night. They are not active in anything. They just sit down, watch cartoon. The only time they stand up is probably when they want to go and pee, or when holiday is coming, for instance. Children are vacating. In Nigeria, children will be vacating this week. So by the time they vacate this week, they resume to the screen almost automatically, which is a menace, because the screen does more damage to children than we are actually aware of. Children don't learn from the screen. The only thing the screen does is shut down their creative mind. So they are watching. All they are doing is they are just taking in. They are consuming images. So parents who say that their children are learning from the screen, in actual sense, what they are learning is probably just the sound. The screen does more of a fast-moving images that children are not even able to absorb. But when you engage your children actively in either outdoor play or indoor play, they are learning as they play. Because for children, play is, in fact, for early years, that is why in schools now, the approach they use is the learning to learn with play, or the play away method. Thank you. The play away method. That's what early years use now. The play away method, because as that child is playing, that is how they learn. Children learn while playing. So if there's anything you need your child to learn, put it in their play. Sit down with them, engage them in the play. That is how children learn. But when we put our children before the screen, they are not learning. There is no active learning. And then it now keeps them dormant. So they are just there and they are watching. Now, the screen also affects the eyes. The fact that they are not also active doesn't help them burn the energy that they are supposed to burn. So the child is done viewing screen, and then the child begins to whine. The child is agitated, and you're wondering why your child is agitated. They have not burnt the energy that they are supposed to burn. They didn't expel the energy they are supposed to expel. They were only taking in without giving out. So nothing was happening, no learning was happening. They might learn the sound and they might probably be able to sing along. But when you ask them the wordings of these things that they are singing, they are not able to give you the wordings. And this in turn affects their language development. It affects a lot of things when it comes to development. So in Olive Resources, what we have, we provide resources that you can engage your children with. That when your children engage in these resources, they are learning while they engage in it. For younger kids, we have resources that help with fine motor skills. We have resources that helps with hand and eye coordination. We have resources that while they learn, they are learning numeracy, they learn literacy on it, even while they are playing. For teenagers, we have resources that help with problem solving skills, critical thinking, strategies, games that help them, that furnish them with major skills that will translate in their adulthood, and also teach them leadership skills. We have a lot of resources. So that's what we do. We make resources available for all, in fact, for the entire family, because we have games for parents as well. We have games for the entire family. We have family games. So yeah.
Wow, my lovely sister, thank you so much. It was really an awesome session with you. My book is filled up already. And thank you for bringing to our knowledge again the authoritative style with intentionality. We celebrate you. We look forward to having you. Each time you come on board, it's always something new. I must say, I can see your mentor gradually emerging. Thank you so much, my sister Layo.
Thank you.
Thank you for this session. God bless you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you so much.
Dear. We celebrate you. Thank you so much. Okay, now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a nice day.
You too, my love. So you're free to leave the session now. It's fine.
All right.
Thank you. Wow, that was an amazing session with Mrs. Omolayo. She's a child and adolescent psychotherapist, and she's not just passionate about raising awesome kids. She's got materials. You heard her. She did say that she's got materials to help children build their life skills. She's also got materials not just for preschoolers or little children. She's got for adolescents and for parents as well. Parents that want to be intentional in raising their kids. So it's been an awesome session today, and I'm sure you did learn something. So thank you for joining us today. We look forward to having some more sessions. Remember, today we did talk about the gentle parenting versus the intentional parenting. And we concluded by saying that it's a choice anyway. You can decide. So it's open to you to become an authoritative parent with intentionality. You have laid down boundaries, you have a set of rules, and you have a mission statement, you have the vision statement, you also have core values. These you begin to build from childhood into your kids until they become adults, because every adult was once a child. So the values that were built in their home, those values are what they are playing out on every one of us today in the society. So thank you very much for coming on here to be a part of this session. I remain your host, Rosemary Onoyuaka Idebua. Till we meet again, do have a great day. We love you. God bless you. Bye for now.